This is TWiT.
Joining me again on Tech News Weekly is app developer Christian Selig, this time here to talk about, well, another app that has gone through some things. Welcome back to the show.
I need like a punch card, I think, for every visit.
Should.
Yeah.
You should. And when you get to 5, you turn it in and you get a developer who makes apps for you instead of you having to make them.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, I'll work toward that then.
So we got to talk about your app Juno. There are, of course, going to be some folks tuning in who have not heard about Juno. Can you tell us what Juno is? What's it for? What does it do?
Yeah. So I guess long story short, Juno is it's a app for viewing YouTube on Vision OS because YouTube announced I think like a few weeks prior to the Vision Pro launching that they weren't really interested in doing a first-party app of their own. And I had, through my previous app, Apollo, I had quite a bit of experience building YouTube into the app because people would post YouTube videos to Reddit and whatnot. I had a lot of code around presenting YouTube videos. So I was like, oh, I can whip up a pretty quick little app to present YouTube videos in a way that would be at least better than, going to youtube.com and Safari on Vision Pro, where all the tap targets are kind of like more mouse optimized and it's a little finicky with your fingers. So I was like, I'll throw this together, get it out by the time the Vision Pro launches and have like a nice little simple app that makes watching YouTube videos a little more Vision OS-esque for people who have got this new device and want something a little more polished than just like the Safari experience right out of the gate.
Yeah, so that kind of was my next question there. The way that people watched YouTube, the way that people were expected to watch YouTube videos, given that Alphabet/Google said we're not making a YouTube app, was that they would go to the Safari web browser and then go to YouTube and hit play. And so
right, like 2006.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So you thought, you know what, let's do something that's a little bit more clean and polished. And actually, I didn't realize this part of it, that you had some experience because of Apollo. Can you go into a little bit more detail about that? You were basically making it so that people didn't have to bounce out of Apollo to go to the YouTube app or something? Got it.
Exactly. So ideally, like if somebody posted a YouTube app to like r/video or YouTube link to r/videos rather, ideally you wouldn't be thrown out of the app into a different area. You could just stay there and quickly jump to the comments or something. And YouTube has a really nice way to do that. They have like what's called an iframe player. And for the uninitiated, an iframe is basically just like a portal into a website. So in Apollo, I did it this way they had, where you would basically just embed the YouTube website, but just specifically the YouTube website video player into Apollo. So it would play right then and there. And they had a nice library for doing this. So I basically just took that code and was like, this works great for playing a video inline in a native feeling way in Apollo. I can leverage this and at least make it feel like it's kind of like the Vision OS video player with easier to tap targets, easier to scrub around the video, easier to close the video and whatnot. And that kind of served as the foundation for the app.
Got it. Now let's talk about what's happened to the app as of October 1st. And after you kind of reveal that part to the folks who aren't aware, maybe you can tell us a little bit about how you're feeling about Google and Apple's decision, and if you think it was the right decision.
No, I think they crushed it. No, it's I think the writing was on the wall after I got an email from Google. Like I think I shared on my blog months ago that they kind of reached out. We're like, hey, we're not, super happy about this. So I was kind of like, this is has an expiration date, to say the least. And it was always an app that I built like primarily because I was getting this headset and I watch a lot of YouTube. So it's like, this would be, if nobody else uses this, it'll be something for me. I don't really care beyond that. And 2, it'll be a nice way to get used to these Vision OS APIs because I've never built for this brand new Apple platform before. And it's kind of sound like a good way to get my feet wet with it. And fundamentally it accomplished those 2 things. And beyond that, it was kind of just like, I charged a few bucks for it, but it was kind of just always like a fun project I built. And it was kind of in my head, as soon as it stops becoming fun, it's just something I won't build anymore because fun primarily was the number one goal. I guess in a sense, like I have other apps where like akin to how you folks are professional podcasters, if you had on the side like a podcast about tomato gardening on the weekends or something. And Big Tomato came at you and said, we're not happy with the secrets you're exposing. We're coming after you. This isn't cool. You'd probably be like, you know what? Like, this isn't worth fighting. I just like talking about tomatoes. Like, that's cool. Whatever. Not fun anymore. And that was kind of how I approached Juno, where it's like, okay, if that's going to be how it goes, that's cool. I guess I'll just keep working on other stuff then. So unfortunate, but I guess not the end of the world.
Yeah, this is why I'm really happy to be talking to you specifically about this thing that you created, because I don't know if you saw, but I certainly did see some people kind of take this thing that happened to you and turn it into something else. There was a lot of analysis and some would say navel gazing about this whole thing.
I might have missed that. No, honestly,
genuinely. Oh,
yeah.
In the sense of this is a very powerful company that is in collusion with another powerful company, and they're crushing small developers. I saw that. I honestly, I don't remember exactly who said it. I'm not just doing the like, oh, I don't want to say. I don't remember exactly who said it, but then I saw a lot of people kind of hopping on board with that and talking about how it wasn't cool that Google kind of whispered to Apple, and then Apple made the decision to pull your app from the App Store. So maybe you could you give them a little bit more insight into that? And if you, as a developer, and a developer who unfortunately has gone through this kind of thing a little bit in the past, do you feel a sense of unsteadiness or unease as a developer that you're working for this large company in a way, and you don't have control of your destiny?
It's a great question. I guess from Google's end, it's, I think, if we can say that, it's unfortunate.
We'll bleep it, but
yeah, it's unfortunate. But for Apple's end, I don't know if I've just been around the block long enough that it's not super surprising. Like that's iOS, man. Like there's one person at the gate, letting everything in and out. That's, I guess, eroding somewhat in recent years. But that's kind of just the name of the game. I kind of figured one indie developer, just logically speaking, wasn't worth going to war with Google over. I'd love to think I'm of anywhere near that level of importance, but I'm clearly not. So like, why on earth would they ever do that? And in terms of like, that would pretty much be all they could do, I think, and it would really sour their relationship. And I know there's like, between their search engine deals and whatnot, there's a lot of money flowing there. So I figured logistically Apple probably wasn't going to step in and do much. But I will say, like, as others have said a lot this week, like it's one of the things where like it would be less unfortunate, I guess, if there were alternate means to, like, if Apple wasn't the only person who could say yes or no here.
Right.
And that is, I guess, one of the a prominent argument for the whole side loading side of things.
So then, to clarify, did you click the button or buttons that resulted in the app not being available to people, or were the buttons clicked for you?
Oh, they were very much clicked for me. I was eating spaghetti and I just like opened up my phone and it was like email from Apple Legal, and it was like, okay, it's gone. Or something to that legal effect. Or no, they said like, okay, as a result of this, your app will be removed. And I like quickly shot back an email and I was like, okay, like when will it be removed? Like I'll send out a tweet or something just saying like, heads up, this is going to be removed shortly. And I logged into App Store Connect and it's like removed. I'm like, oh, like they mean like will be as in like in 7 seconds.
Oh my word.
So it was like, yeah. So it was, no, nothing on my end. I hadn't heard from, I think, either party in like a few weeks. So it was just kind of like, oh, okay, I guess now is when the fire at the end of the TNT stick finally. We're right there now.
See, and this is where I kind of look back to before you, whether you intended to or not, you were a bit of the, it's like a really artistic version of your face got painted onto the shields and the tabards of many a champion who was like railing against Reddit at the time. How does it feel? I know that this isn't as extreme, that there were only, from what I saw and from the fact that you didn't really see this happen, this idea that kind of your apps have served as a jumping off point for people to rally behind, like, big companies making the decision for small developers. Do you internalize that at all, or do you feel like it's just kind of like oh, that's an interesting thing to look at that's happening over there?
That's another great question. I guess, again, I've been through the ringer long enough that I kind of have an idea that these companies really don't care immensely about what the public thinks and like outcries, unless they get to like trying to think like the Unity level or like the Sonos level. As long like if there's like, it's like in Fight Club, if there's like a percentage they hit where people get really angry, and it's really hard to hit that percentage. So 99% of the time I'm just like, it's cool that people are passionate about this, but these companies don't care. And it's fun to be like passionate about this with my friends. And it feels great that people are like kind enough to like support me in these unfortunate events. But it's one of those things where I guess I don't put too much stock into the like, oh yeah, this is gonna change the world. It's like, no, these companies, it's kind of like a tale as old as time with these companies. They see the numbers and they see what they want to see happen, and it's really hard to steer that boat in any other direction.
Yeah. Good news, you do still have 2 apps, like utilities
at the time of this podcast.
Yes, at the time of this podcast, yes, for download. Tell us about what you have available for people.
So I've got 2 little utility apps on the side. So I've got I don't think I've touched either of them in quite a while, but they were fun at the time. They were little Safari extensions for it was one of those things where like you release an app that does what it says on the tin, and it's kind of like, well, all right,
you're good.
Yeah, you're good. One of them, it like, if you're familiar with AMP links on Google at all, which are I used to know what the acronyms stand for, accelerated mobile pages. That's it. Still got it. They're basically like Google's little way of like preloading a website in this like mobile format. And it was like a cool idea in theory. Ended up being really annoying and broke all the time. So it kind of was just a Safari extension once Apple released that functionality to iOS. That would like hook into detect an AMP link and kind of like kick out to just the normal good old website URL that has existed since, the 80s or whatever. And that still does pretty well today, just because it's a common pain point of the internet. There's another one that just lets you like view the HTML for a web page. But the kind of the bread and butter, and even throughout Juno, like what's the thing that kind of pays the bills and lets me have these fun projects is I have an app called Pixel Pals, which is kind of like a virtual pets kind of experience through like widgets in the app. And you can choose different pets and kind of raise them. And it was kind of started as a fun thing in Apollo that spun off into a different app after it kind of got some traction on TikTok and whatnot. And it's just been a lot of fun to build. And that's kind of what I've been working on, like even since like around the time Google started messaging me. I was kind of like not working on Juno as much because, again, it was kind of like a fun project. But even more since then, it's kind of what I've been spending a lot of time on, like tweaking and rewriting and doing some stuff with. And it's been a lot of fun because it's a very different project than a traditional like utility style iPhone app, where it's kind of like bleeds into the game territory almost a little bit more.
Yeah, it's a delightful app that everybody should at least check out.
Absolutely,
it's kind of a fun little way to have a pet on your phone, which is enjoyable.
Who would love that?
Yeah, and I guess the last thing I'll ask, because this is something I always ask when I've got a creator of some sort on the show.
Ooh.
Any future plans you care to share? Or are you just really focusing on Pixel Pals?
I think for now, yeah. Yeah, I think like I've been wanting to rewrite it in more like right now it's an app that focuses a lot on like the widget experience and like the dynamic island experience, because that's kind of where it was born from. But I want the core app itself to have a little bit more there outside of just the widgets. So I've been pouring a lot of attention there and doing some stuff with like some game engines and stuff that I think will make a pretty fun result once it gets to the shipping stage.
Awesome. I'm actually very excited to hear that.
That'll
be fun.
It should be pretty good.
Awesome. Well, Christian, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. If folks want to keep up with what you're working on and know when any future versions are available, where's the place they go for that?
Christian Selig pretty much everywhere, wherever you do your social media, and not really on Facebook, I guess, but everywhere else. You can find me posting nonsense, so shouldn't be too hard.
Thanks so much for watching this little chunk of Tech News Weekly. If you'd like to get the full episode, well, head over to twit.tv/TNW. There you'll find buttons you can click or tap to subscribe to the entire show in audio and video formats. Or just look in the description. We've got links down there as well.